book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to talk about my reading goals for 2023. If you didn't know, this is a 7 on Sunday topic, and I am the host of 7 on Sunday. I will link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out and you can participate in a topic in the future, or you can suggest a topic. And by the way, if I sound congested, it's because the hay fever is not doing me any favors. However, I am very much looking forward to film today and to talk about this because I've been looking forward to this the entire year of 2022 to finally get to this moment where I discuss my new goals in terms of reading. I don't think I have any content goals this year. I mean, if I were to have content goals, it would probably be to post more vlogs. It's just unfortunately due to my work circumstance and due to my lack of time. I don't know if this year would be the year where I start posting vlogs again, but I eventually want to do so. So who knows? They won't be as consistent as they were back in the day, but I hope to get back to vlogging sometime soon. That's beside the point. Today I'm going to be talking about some reading goals I have. Yes, I do have channel goals and aspirations, but there are some reading goals that I would like to achieve this year. I don't know if I achieved all of my reading goals last year. I literally put as one of my reading goals to read more Haruki Murakami, and I don't think I read a single Murakami book in 2022. That is terrible. I know. Let's see if my 2023 goals are more achievable. Without further ado, I'm gonna get straight into talking about the goals that I have on this list. And by the way, if I'm holding my phone up, it's because all of them are on my phone and I'm just gonna read them out. Let's go. Goal number 1 that I would like to mention is reading more backlist manga. So you guys might have noticed last year that I had more of a focus on keeping up with the latest manga, and that's not a bad thing. At least I'm in the know when it comes to what manga is trendy and also experiencing the new things that are out there. However, at this point of time, I'm starting to collect more box sets and some more sets of manga that might not come in a box, but in 2022, even though I prioritized reading new releases, I also prioritized collecting backlist volumes so that I could eventually binge read a series. I love binge reading. I didn't prioritize the binge reading of manga in 2022, and I remember back in 2020 and 2021, I did prioritize binge reading manga. When I think about my experiences with The Promised Neverland and Demon Slayer, I want those experiences again. I haven't had an experience like those or even like Death Note in a while. Often I am waiting for series to have their next volume come out. However, there are so many manga series out there where I literally don't have to wait anymore because some of them are either completed or they're completed for the most part and they only have a few volumes left. So I want to prioritize those manga series that I have on my TBR that are completed for the most part or are completed in general that I haven't gotten to yet or I just haven't continued on with. This is not me saying that I won't prioritize new releases because I will 100% prioritize new releases. It just probably means that I will attempt to read twice as much manga as I currently do. Maybe not twice as much, maybe around 30% more. We'll see. So my book buying habits / special edition collecting habits have been getting a little bit ridiculous because I always prioritize completing the books that I physically own over books that I don't yet physically own that might be on my audiobook TBR. And if there are audiobooks on my audiobook TBR that I don't have physical copies of yet, I will never usually prioritize them. So the second goal that I put on this list is listening to more audiobooks before obtaining a physical copy of a book. Because at the end of the day, I actually don't know as to whether or not I will like the book after purchasing it, and knowing that I already have an audiobook copy that I can listen to prior to actually considering spending my money on the physical copy, like I know I can do something about that. I know I can do something about saving the money that is in my wallet, but I just don't do it because my brain automatically prioritizes the books that are already here. If I was to get the audiobook for either really cheap or to have it available on Scribd, that would be exciting for me because yes, I have extra books on my digital library, and I acknowledge that this is a problem because often I will either get a copy of a book on Scribd to listen to, or I will find a daily deal on Audible and I will download that to my phone, but I won't choose to prioritize that audiobook until I have a physical copy of the book on my shelf. And I don't want to keep doing that because if I end up spending $30 or $40 on a hardback, because you know what, I do my best to make sure that my libraries are high quality. If I invest in a high quality edition of a book and then then later read the book or listen to its audiobook, and it happens to be a book that I don't necessarily like or enjoy, I know that I could have avoided all that disappointment and spending my money if I actually took the time to listen to the audio edition first. And a lot of the time I will purchase books on my Audible account or listen to them on Scribd because I don't want to damage my special editions if I only have a special edition copy of the book, that is. So I will often listen to the audio version. That has definitely saved me from having to damage any of my special edition books. The problem is sometimes I will purchase or save them before purchasing the special edition. And I know I could save myself from the disappointment of a book if I don't like it, if I listen to the audiobook edition first. I want to challenge myself to look past the fact that the audiobooks aren't on my physical TBR, but that doesn't mean that my audiobooks aren't as important as the books that I need to prioritize on my physical TBR. Some people do this with Kindle Unlimited. I personally don't have a Kindle, and I personally don't like reading on electronic devices. And there are many reasons to that, but I'm not going to go into that because I've talked about that a lot on my channel. But yes, I'm making this a reading goal this year because I feel like I need to at this point. It's just getting ridiculous. I mean, I am not going broke because I'm purchasing all of my special editions. I do put a good amount aside for special editions. It's just, I think I could be saving more money in the long run if I try out this method. The third reading goal I have on this list today is to complete my TBR videos for the most part, which will include the 12 Friends Recommend 12 Books challenge, the 23 books I want to read in 2023 challenge. I don't have any other ones planned as I'm filming this video right now. I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a 5-star predictions TBR at one point. Who knows, I might do a this TBR will self-destruct video eventually. I haven't thought about the one that I will be doing this year. But what I do know is that I kind of got through half of that TBR last year. In terms of my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge, as I'm filming this video, I've received 7 recommendations and only 2 of those I actually want to read instantly. The other 5 I'm just like, no, get that away from me. And look, I'm pretty sure they're not bad books, they're just intimidating. So I do want to challenge myself with the 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge because this year I've received some recommendations of books that I don't think I would ever really pick up unless someone really kind of made me. While it seems like a very mandatory TBR, it might just be a fun and exciting one. I really hope I have just as much reading time and reading energy as I did last year so that my 12 Friends Recommend Me 12 Books challenge happens to be successful. That in itself makes it a true challenge. And that's mostly because I've asked completely different people this year. I have put an emphasis on prioritizing my work colleagues here because now I work in publishing, therefore I work around book lovers and I want to know what books they would usually recommend outside of the parameters of our company. Very much looking forward to that one. In terms of the 23 books I want to read in 2023, that seems like a more manageable TBR. I know that with my 22 books I wanted to read in 2022 TBR, as the year went on, I did change my mind about that TBR and some of the books there, but I did enjoy keeping up with that for the most part. In terms of my 5-star predictions, I feel like I have more 5-star predictions this year than I did last year. I feel like last year I started off with really low expectations in terms of what I had on my TBR, and I feel like by the end of 2022 I had stocked up on a bunch of fantasy romance, and a bunch of fantasy romance now has a place on my shelves, so I have higher expectations for the books that I have purchased and that I own, so we will see how this year goes. In terms of the self-destructing TBR, I am planning to kind of do a recap of my last year's one. I failed for the most part. Overall, I think it just came down to the fact that I wasn't motivated to read most of them by the time I had actually finished filming that video. And now I move on to goal number 4, which I think is doable. Based on my last couple of reading years, I personally do believe that it's doable. I set the bar a little lower just in case, but I want to achieve it. The goal I've set is to complete 25 book series. So my last 2 reading years, I completed 35 book series. I mean, in terms of 2022, I actually reread one of those book series, so it technically counts as 36. And in the year of 2023, I've put a reading goal of 25 book series in case I do invest in much longer book series that take me a while to complete, but also I definitely want to focus on reading more standalones as well. I mean, even if they're not part of companion series, I feel like I'm more motivated to read standalones that are part of a companion series because if the companion series has been completed, that can go to my completed series goal. I'm more motivated to read those, but also I don't want to be afraid to continue reading book series that are going to be completed in later years either. I am so driven by series and completed series that often they will take over my TBR, but I don't want to keep pushing myself to have a higher series series count by the end of the year, honestly, I think I would be happy with 25 completed series if that is all I can get to. Look, there are going to be a few easy wins in 2023. I mean, Beastars ends in 2023 in English. I only have 2 more volumes of that to read, and I can count that as a completed series. There are other series out there that have 1 more book left that I can complete this year as well, that I can count as a completed series. It works like that for me. That's how I measure my success, by actually finishing series. And then eventually I make a series that I completed in 2023 video, which I'm also planning to film for 2022, which is exciting. And speaking of series, that leads into goal number 5. Goal number 5 is for me to invest myself in longer series, like 4 books plus onwards. So I noticed that a lot of the series I completed last year, or I read / continued on with, were not really over 4 books. I might have read a quartet or 2, but I had a higher emphasis on duologies and trilogies in 2022. However, there are so many other book series out there that I really want to read that are like 4 / 5 books plus. I can think of a few book series that I really want to read that are over 4 books, like Zodiac Academy, the Bonds That Tie series, An Heir Comes to Rise, the Played a Prisoner series, the Addicted series, the Calloway Sisters series. There are so many that I can name that I really want to get to. And I did not prioritize them in 2022, but I definitely want to prioritize them in 2023. And that's why I've set my series count goal a little bit lower, because I do want to be able to prioritize the longer series in 2023. And yes, I know the saying goes quality over quantity, but sometimes the quality comes with the quantity. So we will see how we go. I just want to have a bunch of immersive reading experiences in 2023. I hope that 2023 is the year of that. Oh my god. Goal number 6. Okay, this one I was a little bit nervous to talk about, but I have to talk about it because I don't want to hold back anymore. Reading goal number 6 is to not be ashamed of what I want to read and to not be afraid of trying new things. So I bring this up because in the age of Kindle Unlimited romances, there are a lot of taboo books out there. And something I do want to say very quickly is that even though I started this booktube channel at the age of 19, reading a lot of middle grade and young adult fiction, I have grown up, and so have you guys, which I mean I'm grateful about because I have been skewing older in terms of my reading taste over the last couple of years. I think where I have been concerned in terms of trying out new things, even things that are a little bit questionable and the things that I don't necessarily endorse in, like, let's say romances, is that I'm afraid that if I mention a book or a series that has some elements that don't sit right with everyone, that people are going to assume that I am endorsing what is happening in the books, or I am endorsing certain relationships, i.e. the 4 Horsemen series. When I read the 4 Horsemen series, I was so compelled. The 4 Horsemen series was my second favorite series of 2022. I adore the series. However, do I condone some of the things that the 4 Horsemen do? No. I don't. I don't condone the elimination that happens in that series either, because, you know, the 4 Horsemen are terrible people. It's a work of fiction. I have to remember to kind of state what I'm not okay with, but also accept that it was an entertaining read for me, and accept that it is a favorite of mine because it was entertaining, because it kept me up at night thinking about life and death, and it taught me so much. I have to think about that and think about my personal enjoyment, while also acknowledging that some aspects of fiction can be toxic depending on the way that the author wrote it out to be or what they intended. So a big reason why I also bring this up is because during Black Friday, I kind of caved and I purchased Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline, the cat and mouse duet. I understand that this is a stalker romance. I understand that there are toxic things that happen in this duet. However, does that kind of compel me to read it? Yes. I kind of want to read it because I want a high adrenaline read. I would kind of see this more as like a horror thriller romance. I do want to read it. I'm not going to lie. And I know it sounds very creepy, it sounds very haunting, and it doesn't sound like something that I would condone in real life. No, it does not sound like something I would condone in real life. However, I am intrigued. And seriously, what I've been afraid of while running my channel for the last few years is potentially condoning something that can be harmful to people. So yes, I do want to give disclaimers going forward of the books that, you know, I will be reading. I'll be giving trigger warnings for these things, but just because I enjoy a book or give it a 5 stars, it does not mean that the book has to be loved by everyone, but also it does not mean that I condone all the actions of the characters. At the end of the day, I am a very emotional reader. Sometimes I can be critical, but sometimes there are books that make me really emotional that will give me 5-star emotions when it's a 3-star book, if that makes sense. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about the cat and mouse duet as I'm talking. So before I proceed with this video, I want to warn you guys that I have not yet read the series. I've been warned off of it, but also I've been recommended it. It's a weird situation, but with the Black Friday sale on Amazon and them being on sale, I caved, I purchased them, I'm curious. And who knows, maybe some other books on my TBR might have similar elements to either the Cat and Mouse Duet or the Four Horsemen series that I don't know about, but I am willing to give it a try. And last but certainly not least, goal number 7 is to rekindle my connections with some Aussie booktubers. Now, this has been a little bit difficult with how hectic my life has been ever since, I'd say, going into the corporate workforce, I mean the full-time workforce. On top of that, not being able to travel as much due to the lockdowns that have happened, but also pretty much building my life up in the background. But thankfully, as I'm speaking right now, I currently have plans to go to Melbourne at the end of March because I'm taking Camilo there for the very first time. If you guys don't know, Melbourne is in the state of Victoria here in Australia. I actually live in the state of New South Wales. The CBD is around, I don't know, 12 hours away if I was to drive. So I'll be flying down to Melbourne this year at least once. At the moment, I might have another plan to fly down to Melbourne, but that's not confirmed yet. I'm just confirming financials at the moment, and I'm gonna see as to whether or not I'm gonna be flying down for an event, which would be exciting. So fingers crossed my financials are all right by the time this video goes up.
What up, book lovers? It's Gedsavanh from the future here, and I can confirm that I have booked my ticket for Rare 2023, which will be 3 weeks after I go to Melbourne. So yeah, I'll be flying to Melbourne again within that month. I'm really excited. Financials confirmed. Tickets booked, accommodations booked, and flights are booked. Can't wait to see you there if you are coming.
And I definitely want to organize some sort of hangout with some book community members that I haven't seen in a few years. I haven't been down there since VidCon was held there, so I'm very much looking forward to doing that eventually, to reunite with everyone I missed so much, because I have missed getting together with my Melbourne crew. But also, I mean, doing collaborations with those who are local as well. Everything has been busy at the moment. I do just miss my friends at this point because I feel like I've just been so on top of my job that I really just need a break and some time to spend with my friends and to talk bookish with people outside of my work circles. Even though I love my work colleagues so much and I love getting to talk books with them as well, I do just miss the Australian booktube community in general. And who knows, I am considering maybe organizing, I don't know, should I organize a hangout for Supernova here in Sydney? What I do know is that I will definitely plan to be there. I want to be more involved in events this year as well. I think overall, I just want to get past my fear of organizing and initiating things because I have anxiety. I think I mentioned this in my last reading goals video as well. I have clinical anxiety. Even though I come off as very loud and extroverted in front of the camera, this is my comfort zone. Like being here alone in the house filming, this is actually my comfort zone, and talking to book lovers is my comfort zone, but initiating that sometimes is hard for me. So I'm hoping that in 2023, I can get past my fear, I can reconnect with some Australian booktubers, I can meet more Australian booktubers. I mean, overall, I get very excited to meet book-loving people in general. So I'm hoping that in 2023, I can also meet some new members of the community I haven't stumbled across yet. One thing's for sure, I will definitely be in Sydney because that's where I live, but I am planning to reconnect with my friends in Melbourne as well sometime this year. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay to the end of the video, leave me the purple heart emoji because I love purple. And if you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social media. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.